Hello, family. We are here at the beautiful Primetimers Lounge at George Pierce Park in Sewanee, Georgia. And I am so excited for today's conversation. We are in a different place because a few weeks ago, I did a reception for a collection of paintings that I created on dementia titled Sundowning. And today's guest, Auntie Janelle Gore, was one of the first people that I talked to really get some information and some inspiration for this collection. And we had a wonderful conversation, and she told me so much, and I learned a lot, and that really helped me create some of the pieces and speak to it at the show. And now we are here in person. Thank you so much, Auntie Janelle. How are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. Bailey just took me through her whole collection. And how long is it going to be up for?
It's going to be up to the end of July.
Okay, so yes, definitely come and check it out if you can. It's really powerful. You did an outstanding job with that.
Thank you so much.
And really took me through the life experience journey from your eyes. And I think that a lot of times we don't get that from a youth perspective. Well, actually, I don't know any time I've ever gotten that, honestly, from a youth perspective. And for it to be in an art medium is also really powerful because your story is able to really jump out of the page, but then you allow folks the opportunity to also interpret it from themselves. And so I think that was really powerful with all of the work that you curated for this show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had a really great time making it. I learned a lot. I had some really great experiences talking to you, talking to other people. It was really nice that some people that I knew came, so it was really wonderful. So I'm an ambassador for the Just That Honey Tea Company, a wonderful tea shop and retail and cafe in Atlanta, Georgia on the Beltline. And today we are drinking Mint to Be with apple, lemongrass, and spearmint. So
yeah, let me try it.
Oh, cup. Yes.
I'll let you do it.
You gotta pour it from the teapot. I love tea. It's my favorite drink.
Okay. I'll wait for us to both try it at the same time. Do you do like pinkies up?
I do. You know, that's important. Okay.
Okay. Do we?
Yep.
You know, because I'm not a big tea drinker, but you can actually taste all the things that you just said.
Yep. Their tea is the best. I drink no other tea.
Because this isn't sweetened.
And it has that. So sweetened, it's A+. But
Is that usually how you take it?
Yeah, I like my tea sweetened, but except for matcha. I drink matcha all the time.
You do? I thought matcha tasted like grass.
No. Put a little oat milk, some vanilla syrup, and cold foam.
Maybe I need the vanilla syrup then.
You need the vanilla syrup. It makes it taste like there's marshmallows in it. It's so good.
Okay.
So, you know, as a young person, as a professional, as a business owner, it can be a little confusing for me when at things that I do, it can be fun, but sometimes my friends come to my events and it's fun to see them and know that they're supporting me, but it can also be a little bit of a clash for me because we're both so used to seeing each other in other mediums like choir or roller skating or just anything else recreational that's not related to what I do professionally. So can I ask you, how do you balance your professional and your personal life?
So I played soccer in college. So I had to learn how to balance school, playing soccer, having friends, doing all the things. And I also, too, before that, when I was younger, I actually acted and modeled and did all of that type of stuff. And then also, you know, was in school and blah, blah, blah. So there's no such thing as balance. It's all about integration. So when people or different things, they come into or they intersect into different spaces. It's all about being your authentic self everywhere you go. So then it's okay if those cross over. So it's okay if your friends come into your professional space because they know that this is something that's really, that you're passionate about. So they still see your joyful playfulness, right? And so the way that you are with them is also the way that you're explaining and talking about the art and things like that. Now, you also too, whenever you have different people dipping into different spaces, there might be times where you do need to have conversations where it's like, hey, this is, you know, I'm working right now. This is kind of this professional environment. This is what I would expect. Like if you're kind of coming in, and if you're not okay with that, then maybe let's chill, let's do something else outside of this area.
Got it.
But I do believe that, especially if you have good people like that, you're hanging around, they'll respect the fact that like you're about your hustle, you're doing what you love to do, and they'll love that, right? And then you become an inspiration too as well. And so it's not about figuring out how to like compartmentalize or balance, but it really is that intersection. How can I intersect everything that I'm doing so that it makes sense? Recently I was at a baby shower having a great time. Somebody started talking about their grandmother who has dementia. So then boom, now I'm kind of in this like workspace where we're having this conversation candidly, but it's also, I'm at a baby shower. So if I would have separated them, then maybe that opportunity wouldn't have come about. I don't know if you're a faithful person, but it's kind of how Jesus is. Like whenever he would go out and be around all types of groups of people, he's Jesus, right? Why is he hanging around some folks that we're not supposed to hang around? But it's because he's his authentic self that he's able to do that and still be himself, be about his business, and people respect that. So as long as you are who you are, it doesn't matter what area you're in, people are just going to respect you because you're Bailey.
Well, thank you. And I like that you said integration, because I think a lot of us are like, oh, it's like a scale and you got to put this thing here and this thing there and keep them separate, because I used to think that a lot. I sing in choir and I was like, I do not want them to know about this because I just want to be normal. But I've started to learn that normal is the blending of everything that I do. I am a full person, and every facet of myself, every shade of who I am is all normal me. So when I put those things together and I allow people to see the full me, then they really get to know me and to say, hey, maybe I won't do the business things because that's not really something I engage with. I'll engage with her in these areas. Or like, wow, I love that she's doing that and I'm going to support her. And that's what it's been for me and my friends. So I think that's been really nice. And I think it's nice that I have that good support system.
Yeah.
And I like that you said integration instead of balance, instead of trying to separate things and trying to keep things away from other things.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like authenticity attracts what you're supposed to attract. So what you're not supposed to attract, it won't come to you.
It won't find you.
Exactly, because people get uncomfortable when they feel that, oh, I don't know if I really like vibe with them, or I don't know if their personality matches. Sometimes they might be distant, right? And that's okay, be distant, because maybe the energy that you were bringing into this space wasn't for me, and that's okay. So as long as you're authentically yourself, you will attract what you're meant to attract. And I had to learn that. That's not something that you come out the womb thinking, right? I feel like as a kid, I was very like, I want people to like me. We just talked about how I was like, I want braces because everybody has braces.
Right.
I didn't even need braces.
Right.
But in learning that, as I've matriculated just through life, you live so much more peacefully whenever you are just like, okay, this is my lane, this is what I do, this is what I'm passionate about, and that's it. And, you know, you kind of leave everything else to the side because it's not worth it anymore, you know?
Yeah, I like that. If you be yourself, you'll find other people who are being themselves.
Exactly.
Because I think my parents always talk to me about, you are the company you keep, right? Like you are what you eat. You are whatever you take in and bring into your life and into your soul and into who you are. So I think I really like that you said that. Another thing that I kind of deal with is not wanting to grow up a little bit. You know, I like having the responsibility and getting older and getting all the privileges and perks of getting older, but also all the things that I have to learn and do. And just kind of apply every single day. And that can be a little tough for me because I'm like, oh, I wish I was still 5 and I could just walk around and eat ice cream all day. And my parents were like, no, it wasn't that. We were still teaching you things then, or this and that. And sometimes I'm just like, oh, I just wish I was younger again. And things felt more simple. Things didn't feel like they were just tasks stacking on and rolling towards me and getting so complicated. So how do you stay whimsical and free and a little bit childlike during your adulthood while still managing responsibilities?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
One, you're still 12.
Yeah.
So be 12. Like I said, I grew up in the acting, modeling type space whenever I was really younger. So I was, you were always expected to be older than what you were, or act older than what you were. So professionalism was like the biggest thing, right? And I mean, I was 12 years old doing a commercial all around Texas and had all these adults around me and everything. It was the funnest thing. But also it was like the second that you were just a silly kid, it was like, you know, people are kind of looking at you sideways, like, oh, that's not professional. And so you kind of forget, like, oh no, like I can be silly, I can, you know, do silly things, you get in trouble, it is what it is, you know, and it's not the end of the world, because if there's any moment to mess up, it's now. And to do it boldly. At the same hand, I was a kid that didn't like to mess up. So if I messed up, it was like my world was crashing down. I remember my mom used to say, even in preschool, they would ask me to do like the ABCs. And I wouldn't even want to say them. And I knew them because I would do them at home. But I wouldn't even want to say them because I didn't want to get it wrong. But that holds you back, right? And so then you don't progress forward. The faster you fail, the faster you learn things, is the faster that you get better. But you have to be willing to fail. And that's an uncomfortable feeling, right? Because I don't know, you seem like a very high achieving, high achieving young lady. And that is great. Something that I'm learning now in adulthood though, because I see a lot of that in myself too, is it worth it when you sacrifice things like spending time with family, or like, you know, not doing some of the things that you wanted to do, or not going on that trip, not buying that thing because you're so focused on, I can't mess up, I can't not do this, but then you forget to live. And so my mom passed in March, like I told you before, and that's really when I stepped back and I said, Janelle, you gotta live. At the end of the day, you need to figure out a way to do the things that you enjoy doing. I enjoy the work that I do with dementia and Alzheimer's, and being in my PhD program. I enjoy those things. I enjoy that ambition. However, how am I also pouring into my family and my friends and my dog that I have? So that even just those things that I also enjoy, that I think we tend, especially in America, tend to just easy push those things to the back burner. And that takes the whimsicalness out of it, right? So the second that you do that is the second that the whims falls out. Now, you can fake it till you make it, is what my mom used to tell me, but then it's not authentic and people don't connect with that anymore, right? And so for me, what I've started being more conscious about doing is doing things that I enjoy. Missing a deadline, and that's okay. And I had to tell myself, like, that's fine. Like, if it's okay if I don't always hit the mark, because then it allows me to still experience life in the way that I want to. Even with mixing work and pleasure, like I talked about, that integration, I don't have to keep it separate. I can put it all together where I can go out and have fun while I'm on a work trip, or where I can say, all right, I'm gonna work for 3 hours, and then I'm gonna go to lunch, and then I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna do that. Now, sometimes you might sacrifice some sleep at night when you still have to get things done, but but you're also still saying that I'm prioritizing living too as well. I think that's the way to kind of keep the whimsicalness. And then I think it's pairing it with like-minded people who will also push you in that space. Yes, so I also think that the older you get, you think that, okay, I just need to have people who are grinding, going. That can be exhausting because you'll always feel this need to keep up. You also need people in your life who are like, stop, smell the roses. Because those people are going to be the ones who keep you grounded, who keep that whimsicalness. And yes, they might be moving at a slower pace, but you need to sometimes stop and move at a slower pace. And that's okay. So like even your friends now, you might be like, oh, y'all aren't doing this, y'all aren't doing that. Who cares? If they're the person who's making all C's and you know, maybe failed a class or two, they might also be the same person who's really stopping to smell the roses, and there's still a lot that you can learn from them too as well. And I think as a child, I was a lot like that, where I prioritized stopping to smell the roses. Versus when you get older, you start thinking about responsibilities. Bailey, you don't have that many responsibilities in the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
Right? So you have things that you're passionate about that you want to do well in, and that's great. But when you think about paying bills and you think about, you know, getting kids to school, like just all those other things that life comes with, there's no need for us to get to that point so fast. So like I always wanted to grow up as fast as I can. I want to be an adult. I want to do this. My mom would always make fun of me. I want to get a job. Janelle, don't get a job. You're not going to like working. I got a job and I didn't like working. So it's okay to take your time to be a kid, because you're a kid for about 18 years. If you're lucky, maybe 21 years. If your parents still support you through college. After that, you're an adult for the rest of your life that you're here.
Right.
And let me tell you, it's a scam. It is. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. So enjoy being a kid. Enjoy just living freely, making mistakes, coloring outside of the box, and just doing what you enjoy doing.
I like how you said failing boldly, because my dad always tells me fail forward. I'll be like, I don't want to do that, because I think for me is it's not only I'm scared to fail, it's like I'm scared to fail, so why try? Like if even the slightest possibility is going to happen that I might not get where I want to go, don't do it.
But even if you feel backwards, that's okay. Because you have such a good safety net. So that's the other thing, is when I was in college, my mom, she told me before I went, she said, Janelle, I want you to experience this like to the fullest. Do everything, try everything, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you've got a safety net. And not everybody has a safety net. And so that's a privilege in itself. So if you have that, fell backwards, fell sideways, fell this way, fell forward if you want to, it's okay, because you do have that. Now, also be responsible with that too as well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there are still some choices that you can make that are really, really hard to come back from. And then as a Black woman, that's also compounded onto that, right? But it's still not something to be afraid of.
Right.
But it's something to be cognizant of too as well, kind of that extra layer to things. And you'll learn that as you grow up. So it's not even anything that you need to learn right now, but you'll start to just see how people move around you, how they kind of speak to you in certain situations, and you're like, I don't know how that made me feel. Like that made me feel like a little funny, or was that a microaggression? Like, because I don't even know if you know. Do you know what microaggression is? Okay. Yeah. I didn't learn what that meant until college. So in high school, I went to an all-white, basically high school. Microaggressions out the woo-saw. Like especially whenever I got on the soccer team there. And I couldn't put language to what I was experiencing and feeling.
It just didn't feel right.
It just didn't feel right, exactly. So I went to an HBCU, I went to Texas Southern University. So I was like, we went to a white high school, we're doing totally opposite. Okay? I need to be around my people at this point. And that was the best thing, because I was able to talk about my experience, hear about my experience from other people too as well, and put language to what I felt.
I like that you said you went to HBCU, because I want to go to HBCU personally.
Where do you want to go?
I haven't decided yet. You know, Spelman is so close. It's here. It's like Well, why not go there?
Getaway.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, 'cause I love to travel, so I think I would enjoy being somewhere else. But also, my mom told me college is cheaper when you go here. So I'm like, oh, that's cool.
But it's Spelman, because isn't it private?
I don't know.
I think Spelman is private, so it might be.
What's private? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
See, this is what this is about.
Yes. So you've got public schools, like for college, and those are usually like state funded mostly. Then you've got private schools that are privately funded by like donors and people like that, maybe alumni, all of that type of stuff. And so they have more flexibility with like what they can do, what they do. So like Emory is private. I think Spelman and Morehouse are private, if I'm not mistaken. But like Georgia State is public. What is it? UGA is public. So like those are like public universities. And what do you call it? They're not any less than to go to, whether it be private or public. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's kind of the difference. Private is usually more expensive because they don't have state funding. But there's also a lot less restrictions that can happen. So like even now, I don't know, are you like aware of like what's going on politically and stuff?
Not really. I try to stay out of political news because it's just everywhere. It's on the front page. I read Apple News, but to like read about stuff I like. Okay. So I'll read about K-pop, or I'll read about food, or I'll read about some new movie, or some element of history or culture. I love reading popular science because they have the series called Weirdest Things You Learned This Week. You'll learn so many weird facts. You'll be like, the earth was vibrating yesterday. And I'll be like, what? It was? I didn't feel that. I guess that was my speaker when I was playing music last night. But I think I try to stay out of the political news because I just want to not keep my innocence necessarily, but not be flooded with all that negative information just yet until I absolutely need to be aware of it. Absolutely. So then I'll say this. What happens up top at the government level influences what happens at public schools. So there's a lot less say that they can have depending on what's going on governmentally. And that's something to think about. It affects programs. It affects things that you might want to get involved in and things like that. So that's also something to think about. Going to an HBCU, they do have public HBCUs. They also have private HBCUs too as well. But honestly, going to an HBCU, period, it'll be a vibe either way. I went to Texas Southern, and I decided to go because my mom went to North Carolina Central University, which is a HBCU in North Carolina. And every year since I was 10, I was going to her homecomings every year. When I was 10, she had to kind of switch up how she did homecoming, but it was still it was still so fun just to see all the Greek life, to the cookouts, to the football games. She was like, I've never been to a football game until you started coming with me. Yeah, I love that. Just the whole experience.
The whole experience. And then you step on campus when you're a freshman, and it's all of that all the time. And the nurturing, too, that you get from, from professors, unmatched. When I graduated high school, I had a 2.5 GPA. So my dad always jokes with me and says, I graduated, thank you, Lottie. Like, just get out. Just got out of there. But when I went to Texas Southern, I graduated with a 3.6 GPA because the professors are just they want to see you succeed. Then I was able to go on to Emory University, where I already had this confidence, like, oh, I can do this. And so I was able to go to a white private school and still do well. And then so on and so forth. So HBCUs, that's where it's at.
Thank you, Lottie's hilarious. Your dad is the funniest person on earth. That's very funny. But yeah, I love that you said the nurturing because my parents always tell me you're on your own in college, right? So no one's going to tell you to drink your water bottle. No one's going to tell you to eat breakfast. No one's going to tell you to go buy groceries. No one's going to tell you to wash your clothes, nothing. But I like that you said they have nurturing with some of that too, that you can get some of that support when you ask for it. And you got to go and you got to ask for it because no one would know if you never told them. So I love that. So I will try to go to HBCU if I definitely can get that experience somehow because just being surrounded by more of you.
It is. And it's really pivotal, I feel like, to just maturing as a young woman. To be able to walk into a space and feel confident and be bold in that, especially as a Black woman. Like, I know some folks who didn't have that experience, and they'll talk about how they wish that they did because they just didn't get that chance to be the majority, to sit up straight and, you know, walk into a room and not worry about what other people are thinking. And that really does stick with you, because I didn't have that growing up as a kid. And so it stuck with me once I got that. And I'm like, I can do anything at this point. You can work at any job, because then you learn that nobody really knows anything. They don't. Everybody's making up everything. And you just have to be confident enough to be like, you know what? I'm going to make it up too. But guess what? I'm going to sound confident like I really know what I'm talking about. People will follow along.
So, you know, as you said in the beginning, I'm 12, right? So I'm having this opportunity to have so many different experiences, both professionally but personally. My parents have taken me everywhere. I don't remember half of it, but that's so cool to look at the photos and be like, oh wow, I went there, I did that, I did this, I did that. And I'm like, I remember just some things I remember, like, oh, like my mom, I loved Kids Bop when I was younger. I was like, oh my God. Like watching the videos in the car on YouTube, like just anything, I really loved it. So my mom took me to Carnegie Hall to see them live, and I did not know. It was a surprise, like, oh, we're gonna go outside. I was like, okay. And it was later, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be fun. I was like, going to Kids Bop. I was like, what? And just those little memories of my parents doing these super cool things for me, and just me kind of looking back and being like, I'm living such a great life, and I'm still living such a great life. Like my parents took me to Florida for my 10th birthday because I always wanted to go to Miami. I like wrote that like in my workbook because I'm homeschooled. I was like, one of my goals is to go to Miami. And then I have some like, oh my God, I'm here with palm trees. Like, this is crazy. So just thinking about all those amazing things that my parents are doing for me. So what are some of your fondest memories from your childhood?
Wow, fondest memories from my childhood. There's a lot, because much like your parents, my parents took us everywhere. We did everything, tried all the foods, went to all the different places. They never viewed us as like, oh, they're too young. It was just like, bring them along. Also, my mom was basically tasked with like raising us. So she was like, well, I'm not gonna not go to these spaces, so they're gonna come along. And if we gotta put a pallet out, we're gonna put a pallet out so that they're there. But I would say fondest memory was probably honest when we all went to California.
Oh.
Yes, to see my dad's side of the family, who, this was in high school, I met him when I was like born, but we had never seen them since. And so I remember being like, okay, well, I'm meeting these like new people, basically, even though they're my family, I feel like I'm meeting these new people basically for the first time. But the way that it was like, no, this is family. Like, this is a connection where, yeah, maybe I haven't really met them in this phase of my life, but there was already this pull and this connection that we were tied together. And he actually, before his dad passed, was able to be there and to really speak with him and kind of bury the hatchet that they had. And I just remember seeing that and experiencing it, and it brought us as a family a lot closer together. And so that was nice, because that was right before I went off to college. And so that was like one of those core memories, like ingrained, like family is a key component that must always stay. And yeah, it's just that feeling of that trip that just never, it won't flee. I'd also say all the times that my mom drugged me up to to Philly to even just take care of my grandmother, those were even like really good times, because it was just me and my mom being silly and having a good time, you know, talking mess about my grandma. You know what I mean? It was just, those are like the best moments, when it's not anything grand, not anything, you know, super big, but it's just, this is family, this is community, this is authentic. And I think as kids, that's all we want, right? I say we, like
yeah. Well, yeah, we're all kids at heart.
Right. But we just want that authenticity. We want to feel connected. And so those are really the moments that I remember the most.
I love what you said about you spending time with your mom, because me and my mom do that. We started a tradition. Every last Sunday of the month, we go to Barnes & Noble's. We go get sandwiches and matchas, and we go look for books and crack it up, and it's just so fun, and it's just a way for us to spend time. And I was like, all right, we need something to do. And I was like, we like tea, we like books, tea and books every month. And she was like, yeah, totally. So that's something we spend time doing together, and something that we've done every month since we started. It's just been a nice way for us to connect and spend some time together, and that's just been nice for me, because, you know, she's working and I'm doing school and I'm doing business and all of that, and so to have that dedicated time, like, okay, we're going to connect right now, like nothing. We haven't missed one so far.
Oh, that's good.
Just been so good.
And hold on to and hold on to those moments.
Yeah.
Write them down too, like if you can, because, you know, when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to start crying. No, thank you. Those memories that you have, they will carry you even beyond. They'll carry you within the hard times that you have.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I've learned. Just allowing myself to experience all of those good memories. They just flutter back. And, oh, thank you. They just flutter back, and they're comforting. And you think back too about all the fights, all of this, and you don't want to ignore those, because you were mad for a reason. You know, and you were upset. And I've looked back and I've found letters that I wrote to my mom, and I was like, I'm moving out the house, and this is it, I'm packing my bags and all of this stuff. But you look back still and you chuckle, because you also remember the fact that, like, they still loved you through that. Through your ugliness, through your teenage ugly years, going through puberty, all the emotions.
Yeah.
They still loved you through all of that, and for who you were. So I definitely am like pro any relationship with the mom. It doesn't matter how old you are. Like, that relationship is just so important. And then you also think about folks who have moms who they're taking care of who have dementia. And it's almost that same type of thing where you're losing them, but they're there.
Yeah.
But still being able to remember all of those memories of them is so important, and almost override the frustration in a sense. Because it can be hard to be pulled. It can be easy to get pulled out of the moment that you're in, even if it's not exactly how they used to be. They're still in there somewhere. And so even cherishing those moments too with your grandmother, even though it can be difficult, it can be awkward, it's still okay. There's something, like you said, the way she sees things is just different.
Yeah.
How can I see things through her lens? So that I can still be in her world.
Thank you.
So yeah.
I think this is a. Thank you so much for this conversation. This was
Thank you, baby.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, because I think we need, as a community, we need to have more of these conversations.
Yeah.
I talk to you, you talk to me, we laugh, we joke, we cry, we smile, whatever. I just thank you so much for spending time with me. I truly appreciate it. Like, this was wonderful.
Yes, I mean, I didn't know what to expect coming in. I was like, you know what, I'm come, have fun, it'll be awesome, great. But I think that's what a lot of adults are missing, is to put down their guard of being an adult and just be in communion with youth. Because when I tell you, I'll have so much to give, because I remember being young and being like, I have opinions, I have this, but nobody's listening to me. And you do, you know, you all have so much to give and so much to provide within any space that you're in. So stay confident within that. Know that you have value and exude that value confidently, unapologetically, no matter what room or space that you're in. This is awesome, Bailey.
Thank you so much.
This is awesome, yes.
Thank you for tuning in, for watching, for sharing with us. I hope you are laughing and smiling at home too. I'm going to say thank you for the rest of my life. This is wonderful, really.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Yes, you are outstanding, truly.
Thank you.
Truly. I don't think I've been blown away in a long time. And I'm just mean in general, not just by someone young, just period. But I think it's because you are being authentic and you're being real. And I feel that. And others feel that. I'm sure when people were here for the show, they felt that. It's more than just, you know, you being 12 years old and knowing how to speak well, having great fashion. Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Credit to Mom and Co.
But yeah, you really are just doing it. You're really doing the thing.
Thank you. Well, cheers.
Okay. Cute.